To the stock market morning prep video for Tuesday, August 12th. Quiet day in the markets. We did get green across the board, very small. Dow Jones up 16, Nasdaq up 30, S&P up 5, and Russell up about 10.5 points, almost 11 points. But very, very quiet. We are still getting that retracement rally. Now the markets have retraced about 38% of the down move that we saw last week. So is that enough to get the markets now to start to roll over? That's yet to be seen, but we are getting into that sweet spot in the ES where I'm looking for somewhere around that 1945-ish area. We're coming into a Fibonacci cluster right now, so that's something that I will be monitoring very closely in the next day or so. We are up in the pre-market session, not bad. Looks like the Ukraine situation is really still on the forefront, as well as the Iraqi bombing now that America had bombed Iraq on Friday. And it seems like they do not care what oil is doing. So that's pretty unusual. However, remember, that could change at any given moment. So just let's stay tuned to that. I am watching oil starting. I want to see oil catch a good bid here so that we can get involved. But right now, I'm just going to stay away because when something doesn't make sense, I just like to just move off to the side and wait till it starts to make a little sense, if you know what I mean. And crude oil is not making any sense to me at all. Yeah, I understand about supply and demand, but when you have several conflicts going on, and this could be a possible disruption in oil prices, I just don't see oil under $100. However, I'm a bull for a longer term play in crude oil, so I would love to continue to add into any strong dips lower. In the longer term, for the long term picture, because I do see oil spiking well above over 100 and into the 110 area again, if not more, because I see that the tensions in the Middle East and in Russia and Ukraine will only get worse. It's not going to get better. Eventually, at one point in time, people will start to realize that, hey, oil is still discounted from what we're seeing. So the war premium will start to really start to pile on to crude oil. Anyway, back to the markets as far as equities are concerned. I like to see one more push today, and we'll see if we can get into those areas, those key areas that we're looking for. And then we not only do we want to see price there, but we also need a trigger in order for us to get short, right? Because we noticed that many times in the past year or so, that we would buyers and dips come in and they look to just continue to push the market. Now that still may be the case, but so far this retracement rally has given me no signs of a very strong rally and that we're going to start challenging the highs. At least not yet. Remember, technical analysis happens day by day, minute by minute, so that could change. But right now, just want to run through the quick indicators. And when we had that oversold bounce like we were talking about Friday into Monday, and sure enough we did, and now we're right back into that mean line of 0. So let's see what happens here. Good spot for the McClellan oscillator to start to roll over. Now, stocks above the 50-day moving average, you can see very weak bounce here. Yesterday was no different. Stocks that were moving did very little movement to the upside. And pretty much if you were trying to get long to stay with the direction of the market, you probably got stopped out because there was no follow-through. So very, very light movement to the upside. Here's the advanced decliners. As you can see here, very light push to the upside. So this is going to be a good area here, and I'll show that to you in the indices. A good area to start looking to see if we get some triggers to the downside. Bonds continue to be well bid up. Got an email yesterday saying, you think I should buy bonds here? I'm not looking for I'm looking for a spot. If you're aggressive, you can, sure. But me, I'd like to see if I can get to 138.10 here in the ZB before I start looking to buy bonds. It's a great hedge for a portfolio too, by the way. ES, as you can see here, this is 38% from. If I take it from here to here, this is a 38% move. I'll do some fib work again. But here, as you can see, our extension was still hovering above the extension, the 1272 and the 1618. So I'd like to see this not perfect looking bear flag right into resistance. And this is something that I'm going to be looking to get short. Now, again, this is this morning, so this is part of today's price action early on in the pre-market. So I'd like to see really we take this area out here, this low out, 1932, and then start to roll over. But let's take a look at the hourly chart here. And here's that cluster that we're talking about. So a little Fibonacci cluster coming in here. So this is what I'd like to see right up in here, 38 to 50% retrace, 1947. Right up in this area would be the sweet spot if we could start to roll over again. Take a look at diamond, same thing. It's the 38% retracement from high to low. And then we're right up in this area here. I really wouldn't want to see the diamonds get too past this opening area, this gap down. Okay, this was coincide nicely with some moving average resistance. So this is what I'm looking for right up in here. Maybe a little bit more of a push, but not too much more. The IW, as you can see, we had a nice bear flag, but we broke out of it, so that does not count anymore as a bear flag. And we're right into resistance here, right at that 50% retrace from the Fibonacci area. But this here from high to low, from this high to low, will measure right around 38%. So most of the indices actually rally 38%, as this did as well. So something to keep in mind. Don't want you going out shorting the market at the moment, but let's get a good trigger, and that's going to be taking at the previous day's low. And this is a nice hangman here. You can see this, how it just literally, you want to call it a hanging man, a long-legged doji, whatever you want to call it. It's a great reversal topping tail. This is perfect for some further weakness here. And I'll do some fib work tonight and get some downside targets, but this is perfect for now a resumption of the downtrend. Now remember, if the market goes up, then obviously this is going to come up and maybe challenge this area here, which is fine, but I wouldn't want it to go too far above this area before we can resume the downtrend. Otherwise, the downtrend will be broken, and then we're going to start resuming challenging highs again. But I'd love to see this market come in a little bit more, guys, and really it's not much of anything. This little blip to the downside is nothing. I'd like to see a good 8 or 10% correction. We haven't had one in over 2 years. It would be healthy for the markets to resume its trend going into the fall and, of course, the end of the year. So let's keep an eye on, see what happens. Qs, same thing. Qs have been the strongest out of all the indices that we follow, and that's actually a good sign. But if we can get a little downside movement to the downside, downside pressure, then I think you're going to get some great bargains, and that we can actually start scooping up some longs. All right, keep your stops in place. Let's see what happens today. Be very interesting. And keep an eye on those current events, because I think we're going to really need to see what happens with the news, because I think the news will be putting a lot of pressure back and forth here. That's why the markets don't have any memory. One day up, one day down. But let's see if we get a good, strong push here to the upside. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.